Hey, today I've got it in the CLIC book. This one is Central Region, Bulletin number 1, CLIC book, Cars Lost in California, if you're in California, Instructions Map, Seligman Division, including Williams, Arizona. This one's dated for January 1991. This particular one, it's interesting how they write these. It goes from Winslow, Arizona, west to Needles. So basically, this is a guide that railroad crews use to locate tracks to pick up and drop off train cars. There's various codes, and you can get those codes online. This will sit here and say, okay, here's your tracks. Track Yard 1, 2801, South Main, Rip Track, Repair in Place, Ice House Track, etc. And then here is Winslow, Arizona. Now, shows turntable. Turntable's there today. Down here was the hog pens. Hog pens are gone, but it looks like maintenance of wave equipment goes there. So, there's the first page. So, zones 28 through 29. We turn the page and we come west. Gives a list of track information, set out track, storage track, north track, south track. Now we go with main 1, main 2, etc. So Denison, and then west of Denison is Sunshine, west of Sunshine is Canyon Diablo. The little diamond thing here is a mile marker. The numbers on here are the track numbers that correspond with the names of the businesses. This shows Winslow's that way and Needles that way. In most cases, north is the top of the page. Here, names of the tracks. This side actually shows a north arrow, shows a Y, at Angel with 2 L's, and then Darling, shows a cinder pit. This is 1991. A lot of stuff doesn't exist today, as it did in 1991, but that's the beauty of these documents. They give you something to go back and refer to if you're tracking things that used to be, or if you're modeling. I don't model. I like trains and history of the railroad, operations of the railroad. More information. Someone told me I go through these names too fast, so I'm pausing long enough that if this is something that interests you, you can do a screen print and get a decent one, because I waited before I changed the page. Okay, this is coming into Flagstaff. Flagstaff has a major Purina plant, and this is Purina down here. Railhead is no longer in business. By 1991, it was a forest product yard. Today, there's a mini mall there, or probably a major mall, and only about that much track exists with maintenance away equipment on it. Continuing west, we're into Flagstaff. Here's the list of businesses for Flagstaff. And here's the businesses in Flagstaff. This portion of the Y is gone. This track still exists coming across here. This track coming to here to the diamond and then ends. And then this is just a field. But 1991. And there what you have everything. Here's the train depot. And now this track here has an old steam locomotive on it. And some log cars, I think. At least that's what I saw last July when I was in Flagstaff. Continuing west, we come to Belmont on here. Nowadays the area is called Camp Navajo. It's still a military base. It used to be a weapons depot. This shows tracks Tracks exist today, but they're in poor shape. But there is a network of tracks around Camp Navajo, which was an ordnance depot, which is now a training center for the U.S. military. Doesn't go by Belmont anymore. If you look at maps, you can find Belmont, or just look for Camp Navajo. North Spur, South Spur, Williams Junction. There we go. Williams Junction takes you to Ash Fork and eventually Phoenix. And you go by the Grand Canyon Railroad. Here's Williams. And this is how it was in 1991. Does not match today. Now they've added a crossover switch here to get equipment from the BNSF into the Grand Canyon Railroad. Continuing west to Ash Fork. House track, yard track. Here we have Day Zone, main track coming in, and then Ash Fork. Ash Fork still has a tall Santa Fe water tower. About here, there's a small area where the town of Ash Fork has put a display thanking the Santa Fe Railroad, and it has some history of Ash Fork, etc. Here's the list for tracks going west. Crichton set out track. Perrin, Double Leah, Eagle's Nest, and Crichton. So remember, we're continuing going west. Crichton used to have a what is it? At Crichton, they took a different route to Seligman, which saved time, and the old right-of-way is still there if you look for it. Now it has power poles down the middle of it. Seligman. Here's a town of Seligman. They've got a small Y. These tracks usually have something on them. You have North Track, South Track, or now Main 1, Main 2 depot. If you're a Route 66 fan, Route 66 Seligman is where the whole Mother Road started. You got people interested in Route 66 again. Continuing west. This is for Audley. Here's Audley and Pica. Now we're getting into names that I cannot pronounce, and I'm sorry if I massacre this name. Yampal? Guessing Yampal. Nope. Yampai. Not an L, it's an I. See? My bad. Yampai. Continuing west. Till Nelson. Coal track. Loadout. Here's Nelson here. Going into Shipley. Continuing toward Peach Springs. Here's a track layout for Peach Springs. And they have Peach Springs and Truxton. Truxton sounds familiar. They've just recently built a crossover called the Truxton Crossover for getting trains to run a little bit faster on the main line for BNSF. Coming into Valentine and Hackberry. Hackberry is an old mining community. Now it's like a population of 100 people. But it's on Route 66, so if you're a Route 66 fan, go for it. There's a Valentine or Valentine. My brother's name is Valentine, spelled the same way. So, all depends on how you want to pronounce it. Walpole. And then here's all the tracks at Walpole. These zones just tell you the zones for the switching. Shows zone 50, so you got a 50 in the track numbers. Coming into Barry and Getz. Barry looks like a very busy place. There's an industrial complex next to the Kingman Airport. This complex has their own engines to do some of the switching, plus the local railroad does more. So you got a little bit of everything. And this is coming into Kingman itself. Here's the tracks of Kingman. Here's a layout for Kingman. Now Kingman, Harris, Mechanico. Track still going that way to Needles. Griffin Siding, South Spur. Here's Griffith and Athos. So we're up to mile post 527 there. Then we have Yucca. There's Yucca coming in to Haviland. Franconia Siding, and Topic, until we're getting close to the Colorado River. There's Franconia, there's Powell, there's Topic, Colorado River. Next thing on our list should be Needles. And here's some information on Needles. I did another one of these CLIC books from Needles to Barstow. They'll be on the same playlist. And then there's Needles. Got Y up there. Shows all the tracks. Winslow's that way. Barstow's that way. And then that's all she wrote. At the front of this, it does have information. I'll put it here. Gives you a breakdown on the zone number 12, the track number 22, and the spot number 04 for figuring out where to put the train cars. And conductors and foremen will be furnished work orders. It goes through directions on what to do, how to do it, what not to do. And then gives you a glance at what the commodities that they transport. So you would know, looking at if you got something that's hazardous, do not uncouple, do not hump. If the trailer's empty, all the different poison gas is good to know if that's hazardous. Oxidizer, good to know if it's organic peroxide. Hazardous is a good thing to know. So there you are. That's some of the codes.